The Favourite is perhaps Yorgos Lanthimos' most accessible film. It is not as complex as his other works, but to some extent does manage to retain some of his trademark stylistic elements, absurdity and dark humour. Before discussing the themes of the film, let's have a look at how the film employs foreshadowing to make the story engaging. There are several dialogues that indicate vital information, and in some cases, plot points as well.
I hoped I might be employed here by you.
A monster for the children to play with, perhaps.
Yes, if you like.
Perfect! I will make a killer of you yet.
Even if I were the last one left in this wretched place, I would remain a lady.
But what a grand idea to take to the mud. Get rid of the poisons one carries with one out.
Not only via character dialogues, Lanthimos tries to signal a major arc through a carefully crafted sound design, as we shall observe in this brilliant edit. As Abigail and Queen Anne dance, we hear sounds of the very next scene leaking in here, doubling with the sounds of what we do see. These sounds of booming gunshots hint that Abigail and Anne's growing intimacy is to be seen as treacherous, and as we learn eventually, does not end well for the Queen. These masterful foreshadowing sequences make the film a delightful second watch. Coming off an impoverished background, Abigail wants to make it big and live a safe, comfortable life. She's suffered blows and hence desires safety and favour above all else.
And have suffered blows, so desire safety and favour above all else.
When Abigail gets the Queen herbs for her leg, she appears to be kind. Moreover, when Harley asks her to spy for him, she reveals this to Sarah, stating she won't work both sides of the street as she considers herself a lady, a person of honour. But gradually, we see her true intentions. She's willing to go to any extent, in fact, to gain advantage, poisoning Sarah and falsely claiming that she's a fraud, or marrying Colonel Masham to be elevated to nobility. As she tells, I am on my side, always. Ironically, she becomes a lady, but loses her integrity that she boasted of. Even after she gains a noble standing, she's more concerned about how to permanently get rid of Sarah. When she finds a letter from the out-of-favour Sarah to the Queen, she intercepts and burns it, thwarting a possible reunion. It is important to mention, Abigail's quest for power and hatred for her cousin is amplified due to the several jibes that Sarah makes at her position.
I have a thing for the weak.
The servant is dressed in the clothes of a lady. How whimsical.
As Abigail ponders before poisoning Sarah, when I end up on the street, my steadfast morality will mock me daily. She chooses to act immoral than to go back to her old days. Sarah, on the other hand, is driven by love for her country. Sure, she deeply loves Anne, but her priority is supervising the ongoing war, in the absence of the uninterested and ailing Queen. Love has limits, she says, but love of your country, there's no limit on that. When the Queen complains that she doesn't love her like Abigail does, she states, not lying to the person you love is true love. Sarah is harsh on Anne sometimes, but she's true to her. Unlike Abigail, she doesn't turn to flattery and sycophancy. Even as she threatens Anne that she shall make her letters public, thereby forcing her to accept her terms and banish Abigail, Sarah eventually doesn't do so. She loves the Queen too much to engage in such an act, and hence burns those letters, choosing to remain moral. Queen Anne, having lost some 17 children, craves for love and attention. As she states,
each one that dies, a little bit of you goes with them.
Sarah has been that pillar of support, caring for her all these years, but she sure is blunt at times. Moreover, she's unable to frequently spend time with Anne, as she has to oversee more pressing matters at hand. Anne is lonely most times and keeps herself busy in the company of her rabbits, symbolizing each of her dead children. Abigail here senses an opportunity, and with flattery and trickery manages to win over Anne and displace Sarah. However, when Anne sees Abigail abusing one of her rabbits, she realizes what Sarah had been saying all this while was indeed right. Abigail is uncaring and insensitive. In a fit of rage, she orders Abigail to massage her leg, simultaneously crushing her head with her hand. Through this gesture, she shows Abigail her place, conveying that she is the supreme power, the Queen, and Abigail, although a lady now, is still her maid, and has to serve the Queen whenever she demands. The last shot of the film has a dissolve, featuring the two along with the rabbits. perhaps indicating that Abigail is no longer dear to Anne, since the rabbits symbolize the loss of a loved one. Abigail is left contemplating her actions, wondering if she shall end up back on the street, as it's a possibility now that the Queen sends her away.